What if I told you that your favorite songs might be the reason you're anxious, distracted, and emotionally stuck? This isn't about music is bad, it's deeper than that. I used to listen to music every single day, it was part of my identity. But then I started noticing something. My focus? Gone. My moods? All over the place. And when I dug into the science, the psychology, and the real purpose behind modern music, I made a decision that most people would call insane. I stopped listening to music completely. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why. Not to convince you to quit, but to wake you up to what it might be doing to you. Music is emotional manipulation, and we love it. It can make you cry, rage, laugh, reminisce, all in 3 minutes. But here's what no one tells you. When you constantly outsource your emotional state to a song, you slowly lose the ability to regulate it on your own. I realized I wasn't choosing to feel confident or calm or happy. I was relying on sound waves to do it for me. If I wanted motivation, I'd play a hype track. If I felt sad, I'd lean into heartbreak songs like I was directing my own drama. But I wasn't healing anything. I was looping pain, looping nostalgia, looping fantasy. And when the music stopped, so did my emotions. I had no inner anchor, only external triggers. I didn't want to be a slave to a playlist. I wanted emotional freedom, so I turned it off. Here's the part that blew my mind. Music bypasses your conscious filters. It goes straight to the amygdala and limbic system, your emotional brain. It literally entrains your nervous system, meaning it changes your heart rate, breathing pattern, and hormonal state. That's why a sad song can make you cry, or why battle music in movies makes you clench your fists without realizing it. But if your body is always reacting to sound, when does it get a break? The answer is, it doesn't. And like any overstimulated system, your brain starts breaking down. You become addicted to noise, you lose your inner silence, and your mood is no longer your own. Ever hear a song and instantly feel like you're back in your ex's car? That's not nostalgia. That's a neurological loop. Music links to memory, not just cognitively, but somatically. Meaning, when you hear that song again, your body remembers the breakup, the anxiety, the craving, the lies, the story. And instead of moving on, you rehearse the pain over and over. The brain doesn't distinguish between real experiences and remembered ones. So every time you replay that song, you rewire that wound deeper. Eventually, the song becomes a spell, and you don't even realize you're under it. When I first cut music out of my life, I noticed something disturbing. I couldn't handle silence. It made me restless, anxious, uneasy. I realized my mind had been trained to fear stillness, because in the stillness comes the truth, the thoughts you've been ignoring, the feelings you've been avoiding, the questions you've been dodging. Most people fill every gap in their life with sound, not because they love music, but because they're terrified of hearing themselves think. But silence is the birthplace of awareness, and awareness is the beginning of transformation. Let's not pretend all music is art. A huge chunk of today's mainstream music is engineered for manipulation. Here's how it works. Repetition, hooks, rhythms, and catchphrases get stuck in your subconscious like mantras. Frequency targeting. Certain frequencies are designed to evoke pleasure or tension. Lyrical loops. Many songs reinforce disempowering narratives. Heartbreak, betrayal, vanity, materialism. Why? Because it sells. Because it numbs. Because a distracted mind is easier to control. Most people say, it's just a vibe. But vibes become beliefs. And beliefs shape your reality. If you're constantly feeding your subconscious a diet of chaos, confusion, and codependency, what kind of life are you rehearsing? There's a difference between inspiration and infatuation. I used to listen to music that made me feel unstoppable, lyrics about grinding, rising, winning, but I wasn't doing any of it. I was feeling the emotion of success without creating success. That's called emotional fantasy, and it's dangerous because it tricks your brain into thinking you've already done the work. Music gave me a false sense of progress. It made me feel like a fighter while I sat in a chair. So I stopped fantasizing and started doing. No more passive hype, only raw, unfiltered reality. This one's controversial, but powerful. I noticed certain music was softening my masculine edge. Others were numbing my feminine intuition. Why? Because music often amplifies one side of you while suppressing the other. Aggressive music kept me in fight mode. Romantic music made me codependent. Spiritual music made me escape reality. I wasn't balanced. I was fragmented, depending on the genre. Once I stopped, my natural polarity started coming back. I didn't need a beat to feel strong, or a ballad to feel soft. I could hold both, without outsourcing it. Music had become part of a bigger problem, dopamine addiction. We live in a world where silence is rare. Every second is filled with stimulation. TikTok, Reels, playlists, notifications. Music was just one more hit, and I needed it constantly. The result? Shorter attention span, constant low-level anxiety, inability to be present. It was like my brain forgot how to exist without external input. Cutting music wasn't about self-denial. It was about self-restoration. And within a week, I felt it. A return to focus, to clarity, to ownership of my mind. Here's a fun fact. Your brain was designed for survival, not stimulation. In nature, you'd hear silence most of the day. Occasional rustles, voices, storms, sure. But constant layered audio input, never. Today, we're feeding our mind a 24/7 buffet of sound. That's like eating dessert for every meal and wondering why you're tired, overweight, and foggy. Your brain needs a break. It needs simplicity. It needs space to process. Music can be beautiful, but when it's constant, it becomes toxic. Yes, but differently. Now I choose music intentionally. I don't use it to escape. I use it to celebrate. I don't play it in the background. I give it full attention, like a movie. I treat it as an experience, not a drug. And when I do, I feel the beauty again. But more importantly, I know I don't need it, because I've learned to motivate myself without a beat, feel deeply without lyrics, think clearly without distraction, and that's freedom. I'm not here to convince you to quit music forever. I'm here to invite you to examine your relationship with it. Ask yourself, do I use music to feel emotions I don't know how to access on my own? Am I using it to distract myself? Has it become a form of avoidance? If yes, try 7 days without it. Let your brain detox. Let your nervous system reset. Let your emotions breathe. What you find in the silence might change you forever. Because when you no longer need the noise, you become powerful in a way most people never will.